Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Alright, so it is my birthday this year, so celebrating that. So, what are we talking about today? We are talking about blasters. This one being a real one, meaning metal. And actually I've filmed this in another video, but haven't got around yet. And that would be my Han Solo outfit that I got. Some of you saw my Comic-Con photos, but anyway, use this guy there. Pretty heavy. We'll talk about this guy. Also have a resin from, I'll talk about where they're from. This is actually a kit that I built myself and painted. It's black, but it's a flat black. But anyway, Greedo blaster. And then I just received this in, and we're going to unbox it right now. And this is the Han Solo New Hope DL-44, and then this one will be the Han/Luke in Empire and Return of the Jedi style DL-44. The difference being that the scope is down, the flash suppressor here, whatever you call it, the muzzle is silver, I believe. But this is from Blaster Pro, and let's open it and check it out. I do that all the time with my wife until she responds. Crinkle paper until she notices. Alright, pretty cool. So first impressions, it looks pretty good. It's maybe a touch more weathered with the silver than I would like. I'll have to look at photos of Luke's specifically. That's who this is going to be for. I'm doing a snowspeeder version. Either whenever he's under the AT-AT, or I may do whenever he's at Dagobah. After he's climbing out of the water. There's a classic photo here that I may try to replicate, but I bought the gloves, I want to use the gloves, so I may just do my own version. So, but very cool, very comfortable. Weight difference is huge. One huge thing here is that it is set crooked, and I'm going to guess that happened in shipping, so I probably just need to warm this up here and straighten that out. But it would appear that this got warped in shipping. But very cool style. I like the fact that I like that variation in the shoot around corners. I like the scope being on the side there. It gives a very cool variation there. Okay, so let's talk about this guy. Use this with my Han Solo cosplay at Orlando, and quite honestly, it weighs a ton. I'll weigh him here in just a second to get an AB, but solid aluminum, steel scope, and it originally looked like this photo here, where this piece and these two rings on the outside were very shiny brass. So what I used to tarnish them is this product here, and it is made by Birchwood Casey. It's called aluminum black. If you Amazon it, I'll put it in the description in case you're interested in it for anything else. But basically, any metal finish, it will tarnish down and turn that bright brass into this look here, which is more classic. So get a two-tone effect, not 100% accurate to the New Hope look, but I like it. I like the way it looks. Extremely heavy. Again, carrying around at the con. I'll go through the pros and cons in just a minute, but one of them is the fact that it is metal. And but this thing is so friggin' cool. I mean, I saw something recently where the guy that designed all the props for New Hope was talking about, he said, so many sci-fi stuff you see, you know, you can tell they don't have any weight to the gun whatsoever. And the fact that he built these out of real Mausers, you know, when Han is shooting, you know, you see the weight of the gun. When Carrie Fisher is carrying the DL-44, you can tell, you know, she is wrestling with that gun, so it just sells the weight because it's real. So I get ready to go into the con, and one of the cons going into the con was actually, like, the day before I got ready to leave, MegaCon sends me an email and it says in there, no metal weapons are allowed. And I'm like, you have got to be crapping me. I have no time to deal with this. I paid a decent amount for this guy right here, and now you're going to tell me that I can't have it? So I take it up to the security guard where they're checking things in and show him that the barrel is absolutely solid. You know, I'm like, you can tell this is a prop or whatever. So anyway, he was like, go ahead. He said, but keep it in the holster for me, you know, during the day. So that's what ended up happening. So PSA, do not take metal weapons to cons. They won't. I got lucky, but I was terrified that they were not going to let me in. So that's where this guy comes in. What's the two advantages here? You don't have the weight of this guy, and it's also acceptable because it's resin. You know, there are absolutely no working parts. So in this guy, it literally has a working trigger, even though, again, the barrel is 100% solid, so it's not a functioning weapon. But they did do the mechanics of the trigger, you know, that everything works. The resin one is poured solid. It is 100% solid. Nothing moves, trigger doesn't move. On the Greedo, I've got, that'll be one of my full-scale mannequins that I do. I actually had to, so if you can see where this trigger is, they were basically comparable. And you cannot get the gloves of the Greedo hand through this. So I literally cut this out and re-glued it back. Although it doesn't look accurate, it will whenever it's on the Greedo hand there. So again, the non-functioning trigger actually allowed me to move it there. Alright, so back to this guy and the fact of carrying it around at a con. Let's see what the weight difference is. Okay, the Blaster Factory DL-44 comes in at almost 3 pounds. And I would have guessed that it was more than that, because this dude is heavy. So almost, 2 3/4 pounds. Versus the resin version from Blaster Pro comes in at well under half. What is that, about 40%? Yeah, 40, maybe even less than 40%. We're not good at math. So yeah, considerable difference. So literally, and let's see, go ahead and do my Greedo at the same time. About the same. It's not even, is that 12 ounces? Wow. So it's not even a pound. Yeah, not even a pound. So I've got this guy on my hip. I have no rear end whatsoever. The wife says no ass at all. And my belt is literally falling off of me. I had to stop and like re-cinch it as tight as I could possibly get it, because this dude was pulling the belt off of my side the entire time I was walking. You think, okay, 3 pounds is no big deal? Tie a 3-pound weight to your belt and walk around with it all day. It's significant. So again, close to 1/3 of the pound. Huge, huge win here. You can get through the cons with it. So, and you tell me what looks, you know, is there a huge variance in what you see on camera besides the work that I need to fix? So let's talk about the various things. So this Greedo came in a kit like such, this photo. and I assembled it all. You know, it's just a flat, solid black, and I glued all the pieces together, painted it myself, and this is the results. This is from Blaster Pro. I like their flatter. I think I'm going to repaint this a flatter black. I think the gloss is what bugs me. I'll actually be curious to see this myself whenever I look back at it on the camera of how the two look and reflect light. Maybe actually cool to have a little bit more reflection to it. But again, I'm going to look at their weathering here and see. Seems a little too silver for me, but that might be dead accurate to what Luke had. But all right, and then of course this came as is minus the weathering of the brass parts. So let's start with the Blaster Factory. This piece cost $7.49, and that's before shipping. What are the cons to it? It looks real in your hand right now. Again, I'll have to look back at the video here to see, is there, can you tell that this is resin? But in hand, this looks real, this feels real, it handles real. Everything would portray, you know, as I said, that the guy said that it looks like it has weight because it has weight. It's real metal. Very much a 10 on the cool factor. You know, you handle this and you go, this is what Harrison Ford was using in the movies, you know, a facsimile of it. What are the cons of it? It looks real, so cons won't let you in with it. They don't want something that looks and feels like a real weapon. It's also exceptionally heavy, and it costs much, much, much more than either of these two guys. All right, so what are the pros on this guy? It's cheap. It's a little bit over $100, and to ship it from Cincinnati to me, total investment is under 125 bucks. It was 124 and change. So that is a huge, what's that, a 1/6, 1/7 the cost. One of the pros is that you can use it at cons. So fake weapon, you know, that doesn't fool anybody as far as handling it, but looks cool, you get you past security. So big plus there. Cons, it's warped. It just doesn't look, you know, in hand, there's no comparison. There's absolutely no comparison. This looks amazing, but no comparison to this guy, nor the feel of it or anything else. But very much acceptable to especially if it's holstered 90% of the time, or you're just posing for photos or whatever. Totally passable, economical, total thumbs up. Excellent job. All right, let's talk about the Greedo Blaster. You have to assemble it. That was actually fun for me. I enjoyed, you know, some of the parts are, you know, if you've seen resin printing or whatever, you have these seams down everything, you have to sand that off. So if you don't have tools or you're not handy or confident in that, that might be a negative to you. It was a positive to me. I enjoyed building it. And there's just something cool about going, like, I assembled this thing even though I didn't make it. But anyway, so there is that aspect that you do have to assemble it yourself. You do have to glue it together, and you could screw it up very well. You have to know where all the various pieces go and research that. I had to adapt the trigger. Again, that's a plus that I was able to do that. But another plus is it's very inexpensive to get the kits versus this that they had to put time into painting. This was 65 bucks, and that was plus the shipping on it, so it came out to under 80 on that. So under 80 for this, under 125 for this. The paint that I did on it is okay. I don't know how it's portraying on camera. I put kind of a glossy metallic paint on it, and then by the time I weathered and all, I'm happy with it, but I'm not thrilled with it. So I may tinker with that to go further. But cons, feels cheap. I mean, it feels plastic, doesn't feel cheap, but it feels not real. of course, comparatively, and about the only con. You know, it's not functioning, you can't move the trigger or whatever, but other than that, thumbs up. So this is going to be an edit in. Just walked in and was speaking with the wife. Holding these from a distance, like say about 3 or 4 feet away, you actually can't tell that much difference. Now I can, because I can see the metallic nature, you know, the way that the light reflects and all that. But in Star Wars, stuff is moving. You know, they're not sitting here going, "Hey, look at my gun here." You know, this thing actually holds up exceptionally well to the real deal. Now, does it hold up as far as cool factor? Again, holding it in person, no, it does not. But I don't want to ever tote this thing around at a con again doing cosplay. So big win for Blaster Pro. Not discounting Blaster Factory and the real deal at all, but shocked at how much this actually holds its own, especially from a few feet away, which is the way that the bulk of cosplay is going to be done. And the wife actually said that she liked the weathering and all on this. She actually preferred this. She said, "Send that one back." I was like, "Nope, ain't gonna happen." But interesting. So with doing this, you want to heat it up enough to soften the resin, but don't get it, especially if the hair dryer is not really so much a problem, but a heat gun will blister the paint, so you don't want to get too close with it, or you'll jack up the paint job. It will also melt the resin and bubble it even if it was unpainted, so be patient and cautious. It's already flexing. Now all you want to do is just hold it in place, and you want to check it from both angles, make sure it's not kicked up or down, and it's proper side to side. And I'm going to run it under cold water real quick. Alright, so literally, what was that, a minute of heating it up, and run it into the cold water to kind of set it, and that is absolutely perfect. Very easy fix. Couple things. Another point with resin versus metal. I don't know what happens if you drop this guy. You know, if you're cosplaying and it fell out of your holster and hit a concrete floor, this may very well break. As a matter of fact, I would pretty much guess you that something is going to break, especially a part like this. Break off the barrel flash suppressor here, whatever. Even this part could totally break off. So whereas the metal is going to dent or scratch at worst, I would not anticipate it breaking. And lastly, if I kind of, whenever I was editing and watching the video back, I'm very impressed for the bang for the buck of the Blaster Pro. But one thing I kind of didn't want to give the wrong impression, if I was buying only one, I would get the Blaster Factory. Because, let me rephrase that. So if I'm cosplaying or putting this on a mannequin, I'm using Blaster Pro. It looks almost as good as the Blaster Factory, but it does not have the cool factor that the metal one has. So if I'm wanting one for a display, you know, I'm gonna have a blaster display, I'm getting the real deal, and that's where that one wins. I would spend the money to get that one. So if I was to pick one and had to get rid of the other ones, it would be the Blaster Factory, but can't beat this for 125 bucks. Very cool. Pew pew. Big thumbs up to both companies, Blaster Factory, Blaster Pro. Would highly recommend both. They both have their target audience there and do what they do exceptionally well. Would highly recommend those. I hope you enjoyed the video here. I hope it was informative and helped somebody with a purchase in the future. Please hit that like, sub, and notification bell. I'll be doing more stuff like this in the future, Star Wars related. Until then, if you're not doing it half-ass, what? You ain't doing it right. May the Force be with you. Y'all take care.